Welcome back. It's the latest health trend taking over the wellness world. Blood sugar monitors have been used for years, helping people with diabetes work out how their body responds to different foods. Now, people without the disease are adopting these wearable devices.
Yeah, considering we monitor our weight, heart rate and daily steps, is this data helpful or is it just another thing to obsess over unnecessarily? Wow, it's a good question.
For more, we welcome back endocrinologist, Associate Professor Catherine Tongs. Nice to see you again. Let's start with a quick lesson. How do these trackers work and who would usually use them?
It's lovely to be back, Larry. We've got 3 trackers that are approved for use in Australia, and they're essentially small devices that sit on top of the skin with a little probe that goes through the skin into the tissue, the fat tissue, and it measures your blood glucose levels every 5 minutes, sending it to your device so you can see what it's like. People with diabetes do use these very usefully to monitor their levels so they can adjust their treatment.
Okay, so they might go, oh, I'll just have a look at what I'm sitting at and then I might need more insulin, and that's why diabetics use them. But here's the thing, people without diabetes are now using them. And why are they doing that?
Kylie, I think people are genuinely interested in their health and to see what their blood glucose levels look like. The difficulty arises when people then start using these readings when they don't have diabetes to say this is normal or that's not normal, or I should change this about my diet or my exercise. We just don't have enough evidence around that at the moment.
So, excuse me, so we're not talking about any benefits at the moment for people without diabetes apart from tracking?
Yeah, we don't have any long-term data to say that it's helpful or it's harmful, or what we should do if we see certain readings.
Okay. How accurate are these readings? Like, what does it show up? Is it a figure out of 100, a figure out of 500? What does that actually look like, the reading?
Yeah, the reading's actually the actual level of glucose or sugar in your blood at that point in time. But actually, I said blood, but it's actually in the subcutaneous tissue. And that's an important point to make, that the subcutaneous tissue readings lag behind the blood readings by 5 to 20 minutes, depending on how hydrated you are. And also, the actual devices have an inbuilt error of between 15 and 20%. So the actual number's not what's important, it's the trend that's useful with these machines.
Right.
Now, some experts are saying that obsessing over that number can trigger anxiety or even lead to eating disorders.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
As health professionals, we're always concerned that any of our interventions might lead to harm. So we want to balance that out with any advantages. And as we've just mentioned, we don't know what the advantages are. So in this circumstance, you're spending money, time, and potentially taking your efforts away from doing things that we know will help with your health. But on top of that, when you have a lot of information, it's easy to think about it too much. And when you've got information you think is abnormal and you don't know what to do, that can lead to some mental health challenges.
So, Catherine, I guess an example could be, oh, I should go for a walk. Hang on, I'm just going to check my glucose level. Oh, I'm actually tracking okay. I don't need to go for a walk because my blood sugar's fine. So that's the sort of thing that you're thinking about, right? That's an important thing to think about.
Absolutely, that's one side, and the flip side is I'm eating this, it's risen a tiny bit mountain, you know, is this abnormal? We don't actually know.
Or like an apple. Eating an apple could spike it, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's other benefits to these activities that aren't to do with your blood glucose that won't be measured by the machine.
Okay. How can we naturally lower our blood sugar? What are some ideas?
Yeah, the good news is you don't need a blood glucose monitor to be able to control your blood glucose levels. So for most people who don't have diabetes, their blood glucose levels are normal anyway. But if you do have some abnormal glucose levels, the most important thing is exercise. It'll bring it down short-term and long-term over a day if you exercise. Sleep, managing stress, because your stress hormones will increase your insulin requirements and glucose levels. Eating low GI foods, that are foods that absorb more slowly from your gut, and you can do that by adding protein and fibre and good fats to your carbohydrates. Things like having small and regular meals, avoiding binging and fasting.
Yeah, avoiding a huge meal at 8 o'clock at night would be one way to go. But very important to point out that these are essential for diabetics, and we're not suggesting they're not. This is just the people who are opting in to use it
100%.
as a health device. Professor, thank you so much. Lovely to see you.
Sure.
Thank you, Catherine. Nice
Lovely
to see
to be
you.
here.
And we'll be back right after this.